ULTI.TV.
Good morning and welcome back to the Brisbane Canberra Invitational. We're coming to you live from the nation's capital on this ULTI.TV production brought to you by Fishwick and Factory Ultimate Clubs. My name is Max Stenstrom. I'm joined in the booth by Anita Beck, and we are watching GWS and Fuse do battle in the women's division. Anita, how have these teams gone so far?
So neither team has had the weekend that they were hoping for. GWS has managed to lose all their games except against Canberra's Factory. And in fact, Fuse has managed to lose all their games, including a sudden death to Factory. So hopefully they're both coming into this game with a lot of enthusiasm to try and get a good win on the board.
Fuse's loss to Factory happening in the time slot. It's just finished. And so they'll have that added challenge of coming off a really tight-fought game, and a tight-fought game where they weren't successful, then having to back that up again, which is always a challenge. As Mueller shoots long to Simpson, that's a connection I imagine we'll see a fair bit of. Ava Mueller, known for having a bit of a cannon, and Simpson, very willing and eager receiver. So Fuse get off to a good start.
And that was an occasion where the point and shoot did work.
Did indeed.
Hopefully we'll see a bit of different styles of plays between these two teams. Obviously GWS is based in Sydney, Fuse is based in Brisbane. Often have a lot of different styles, different ways of playing, and different tactics.
Fuse led in the coaching staff department by Anson Chung. He's a Canberra product, but now shares around his coaching services across the country for a number of different rep teams and the Fuse women's team. And Jodie Brown will pull for Fuse. Very experienced player in both the women's and mixed division. GWS shoot early for Poop. Back to Carmen, one of the veterans of this team. She dumps. This is Handley with the disc, and there's a call downfield pick, and it'll be quickly resolved. It's a very different looking GWS outfit to even just a couple of years ago. Some fresh faces and some notable absences. Monica Poop does well to keep that one in. Just a couple of inches inside the sideline and outside the end zone. We'll swing back to Handley. She's got Carmen on the open side. And the easy pass. Hits Julianne Lamb right on the chest. And that's one apiece. Clean offense so far. They're very contrasting styles.
Yeah, it's it definitely is.
Fuse opting for that long game early. Ava Mueller has never met a long option she didn't like. And GWS preferring to grind a little bit more, maybe rely on their depth and their athleticism to churn the undercuts.
Might also be a product of the fact that Fuse has come directly from a game. Sometimes if you're a bit tired, you like to go for those long shots, see if you can finish the point quickly. Working for them in the first point.
It really is such a challenge to come from a universe point game, particularly a universe point loss, and then have to back it up. That tight game situation just demands so much emotional, mental and physical effort and then obviously the sudden depths of losing, that it's really hard to back up and find the motivation again. So see how Fuse tackles that problem, tackles that challenge. Fuse on offense. Mueller with the disc again. And that's a big bid. And there'll be a bit of a chat about it. That was a nice looking block from Courtney Thompson. What do you think, Anita?
It was close. It's interesting to see. It was a great bid. She was on the outside of the disc though, so that's hard to get a block when you're on the outside versus the inside to get that cleanly. It's hard to be able to do that without some contact. It has been uncontested.
So the disc will stay with Fuse in the hands of Ferrari. Mueller will get the dump. And Simpson heads to the end zone, but the shot doesn't come instead. The inside break to McInnes. Inside break again.
There's another pick downfield. A lot of recycling cuts downfield, which can cause some picks to happen.
Oh, and a miscommunication between Lee and Mueller. GWS get the disc at halfway. It's a lovely break backhand, and it's just put down. Not able to hold on was Alice. Now Alvin Mueller pick up again. McInnes heads to the end zone with plenty of separation. Janacek not able to be in the contest. That's a nice dish for the goal as well. Though perhaps we'll have a bit of a conversation. No, it's a goal, but they'll have a chat regardless.
And that receiver was alone in the end zone. GWS defense sleeping when she took off. Particularly surprising knowing that Fuse like to put that long shot up.
Mueller, one of those throwers with a bit of a reputation for loving the deep option. Other teams have no excuse for not being prepared for it. But you're right, GWS caught napping there. McInnes in a paddock at the back of the field. Very happy to receive the huck. So we're still on serve.
Both teams putting on a match defense at the moment, but the wind is picking up slightly, so it'll be interesting to see if anyone decides to throw a zone on.
Wind a little bit left to right, if anything, and towards the camera. But as you say, still relatively light on and won't have too huge an impact, I imagine, on the players. GWS will play some offense now. Hanley shoots for Carmen. It will float. And it will be swatted away out of the field by Chain.
That was good defense too. It's really tough for the offense to catch a hanger like that when the defense can just continue to run through and get the momentum.
Especially where it's just out of bounds or floating on its way back into bounds. Obviously, defense not worried about running out of the field. Fuse moves it across the field to Brown, and we've got a pick call by Firat.
That's the third pick we've had on the Fuse offense. So really struggling to find their space downfield, it seems.
Brown picks up and shoots, but it falls a little short. And it bobbles up, and they almost get the second look at it. Carmen. Backhand crossfield. Looking for Matheson, but it pops up a little high. And Brown will restart play for Fuse. Nice inside forehand, followed by another. Good use of the break side by Fuse. And again, break side. 4 or 5 passes in a row for Fuse, and they get the goal as they find Sila Mudwa. GWS just totally not able to hold the force that point.
No, it seemed like they were chasing their players a lot and they weren't able to actually get onto the mark versus being classically broken by the thrower. That first break is often very dangerous because you can open up that break side and all the defense down the line is out of position, not able to get that force back on.
And crucially, that's a break for Fuse. So while we mentioned the challenges of coming off a tight match and backing it up with more good quality play, they've stepped up and they're leading 3-1.
Well, these are all really challenging things that teams have to deal with because you can have that mental disappointment of having lost at Universe Point, which can really affect your next game. But having said that, you're warm, you can keep that momentum and come straight into the new game. Similarly, GWS technically have fresh legs, but they've lost that momentum of play. They have had that bye, a stoppage. Maybe they've eaten a bit too much. So managing those gaps and those continuations is always a challenge.
Fuse playing a bit more of a junky defensive look. And GWS will have to act and work their way through it. Janacek, a nice backhand through the cup, finds space. Murray steps through. And Brown again will be the one to pick up the disc and get things moving. She shoots. Dom Simpson in pursuit. Not quite in, apparently. Brown steams through. And Fuse again, taking the aggressive long shot early to great effect.
Really interesting junk that they put on there. It seemed to have, there was definitely 4 people involved in the junk. It wasn't a classic mark and wall. It seemed a bit more fluid than that. And I think GWS was excited because when you step through a junk like that and you break through that cup, then the field is open and you can really break away from that. And they got very excited and pushed one through, but unfortunately the execution was not so great and they weren't able to catch that and capitalize on the freedom that they would have had past the cup. But the thinking is there, breaking that cup.
We see a little mix-up of the lines here. Maybe Fuse stepping outside their regular OD lines as Mueller will come across for this D point. Up till now, only playing offense. So you can see her throwing power there. Huge ball deep into the end zone. Doesn't get much better than that from a pool. And GWS will have a long way to work this disc. Comes to the near side, and we've got a pick call.
Yeah, it's
Disc in
injury.
hand. An injury call.
We've got a Fuse player hobbling off the field. Seems to have done something to her ankle or Achilles.
And that's Mueller coming off. That'll be a loss for Fuse if she's not able to retake the field. She's clutching at her ankle on the sidelines, which isn't a good sign. Key part of Fuse's offense and defense as well. Play will restart. Barnes with the disc. She shoots forehand. It's going to float up.
Oh,
And
what a
Matheson,
catch.
great one-handed snag. Followed by the inside forehand. Bobbled out of control. It'll be interesting to see how different Fuse's offense is without Mueller on the field. Her range on her throws just really changes how another team has to play defense. Fuse can't hold on. Handley with the disc. Barnes, though there's a pick. Disc will stay with Barnes. And Firat will call an injury. Players dropping like flies this point. Perhaps some uneven surface out there causing them trouble. Her ankle also giving her a bit of grief by the look of it. Fuse just keeps it in the field. Nice swing. And now the deep shot comes quite late.
Both teams struggling to keep possession here. Unable to string too many passes together. A lot of missed throws. If it hasn't been windy at all, this wind, while it's not particularly significant, it is picking up and it's definitely different than what it has been. And it seems like players are somewhat struggling to adjust.
As you say that, the wind does continue to pick up. GWS aren't afraid though. Immediately shooting towards the end zone. Though cut out well by Fuse. The wind coming towards the camera. So it's predominantly a cross breeze for these players. Great bid and hold. Fuse go the inside look again. And the high backhand over the top for Amanda Wong. Big point from her. First the big grab on this near side and rewarded with the stat.
We have a timeout called by GWS, which I think is a good idea for them. They've just not been able to punch any of their offenses into the end zone. They're going to have a regroup and think about what they're doing. It doesn't seem to be particularly forced by the defense. It seems that it's mostly unforced errors, throwing errors, some drops that they've had.
And to their credit, Fuse has been reasonably clinical following the turnover.
They've had some great catches of those wayward discs. Some of those shots that haven't gone exactly the way that GWS has wanted, Fuse has been able to come down with. So then being able to capitalise on that is a really good credit to them.
And Mueller is retaking the field, so whatever issue she had with her ankle, nothing too serious.
GWS having a good chat on the line, making sure that everyone knows what they're doing.
Oh, great work towing that in. And Hannah Monty uncorks a vintage Hannah Monty throw.
Which is a blessing for Fuse. They were trying to, they'd come down in junk, but had really been chasing behind the disc and they weren't able to set it before Hannah threw that.
Mueller. With the disc. Fuse. A lot of their cutters not able to generate a lot of separation. Mueller in power position, doesn't take the opportunity. Swings to Wong. And that throw probably not intended for Mueller, but she'll take it and she'll shoot towards the end zone. Monty in the vicinity does just enough on defense to force the mistake out of Fuse. And that's a better throw from Monty. Comes out much nicer, and Carmen will milk it for all it's worth, but can't quite get it into the end zone. Looking for a dump option, not a lot opening up. Has to swing across field. GWS Blaze just a few metres out, disc in the hand of Danielle Sutton.
Interestingly, Fuse stayed in their junk formation, even that close to the end zone. And that throwaway justified that choice.
And Fuse set up in a horizontal, feeling like the vertical wasn't providing them what they wanted offensively. Nice inside throw. And through the middle, they're doing well. Lee with the disc. And Mueller, hands on it once more. That's Barringer, pivoting through contact. Strong play. Back to Mueller. Would have loved a deep option there, but no one cuts. Throws late to Wong, to the fat side. Great bid. Can't hold on. Clearly very comfortable throwing her body around.
Just a difficult throw to catch that one, fading away as she's running around.
Blaze through the hands quickly, find Janacek in the centre. She finds Carmen. Monty's going deep. The throw will come. One of the fastest players on the field. Makes great use of that speed there.
And good to see Hannah Monty imprinting on that point. The first few points of this game, she hasn't really been involved in the play. This time she's thrown several of the discs. She's finally caught the goal there.
If they want to make up this deficit, I imagine we'll have to see big things from her. She's
no foreigner to Canberra, obviously, being based here. She played for the Canberra Freeze last year.
She did. And she lives and trains in Canberra most of the time, but commuting back to Sydney to play with the club that she helped found, GWS Blaze. This will be one of Blaze's first opportunities to start a point on defense. We'll see what their structure of choice is. It just seems to be matched. And Simpson takes no time in sending that disc to the end zone.
It was a good option. Her receiver was quite free, but just not able to keep up with that throw.
Through the hands on that one. Simpson providing plenty of pressure on the back shoulder. Ferrari will pick up the disc. McInnes straight to the end zone. The forehand over the top of Poop, but too far out in front. It's a difficult channel to throw down, that one. Not a lot of space. You've got to get it up and over a defender.
And with the wind pushing the disc out of the field, it makes it even harder.
And that wind coming a little bit more right to left now. So this is upwind for Blaze. We'll see how they handle that. You can see the wind getting involved there, impacting that throw. And Ferrari again get things moving. Centers. But they can't quite complete the swing. Too far out in front of Cullen. Blaze look to go the other way quickly. Into the center of the field as they shoot deep with a high arcing forehand. Simpson loses that one and has to go up with a bit of a desperation jump. Crosby underneath it. And she'll dump back to Thompson. But unfortunately can't complete that pass, and GWS give up a great opportunity a little cheaply. Almost a Callaghan opportunity, but either way, it's a turnover in the end zone. So Ferrari not happy with the contact that she received. We'll have a bit of a chat about it with Courtney Thompson, the captain of this Blaze outfit.
GWS, looking at that replay, definitely got to the disc first, but there was some contact that came after that, which she's acknowledging.
A little bit of confusion. It looks like it's an uncontested foul, judging by the hand signals. But it looks like players will eventually get play restarted. And GWS will maintain possession at the front of the end zone. Thompson will dump to Poop. To Janacek, did she toe it in? There's a pick call. The disc will go back. We've seen a lot of picks this game. Neither team's offense being able to efficiently and cleanly use the space particularly well in avoiding those. And the disc will be tapped back in by Poop. She has Thompson. Matheson. Thompson again. And Blaze.
So that actually was
Break
a
back.
turn. Yeah, so Fuse, the call must have been that Fuse fouled the GWS player as she was defending. The uncontested foul meant that GWS got the offense and the opportunity to break.
And they take that opportunity well. So it was, for a moment there, looking like it had the potential to be a blowout. It's just tightened back up as GWS get a break back. And at 5-3, Blaze clearly ready to fight.
It's good to see GWS haven't left the game entirely and that they've come ready to fight, like you said. The question becomes, how long can they keep this run? And what's Fuse going to do to try and clamp down on it as quickly as they can?
We've seen a few different defensive looks from Fuse so far. That loose four-person cup kind of shape that we spoke about earlier, in addition to their match defense. I'm sure Anson Chung has a couple more tricks in his bag that he'll be happy to pull out if he needs.
And we see GWS come down in the zone this time.
Simpson centers to Mueller. She gets it back and shoots forehand cross field for Simpson. She's in so much space in the end zone.
That's definitely a favourite of Mueller's. That's the third time we've seen her throw that, and the second time it's been caught for a goal. Just a really hard shot to defend that. It's coming out of the open side. It's landing in the break side.
And the choice is the deep defender in that zone. They have to make a choice between covering the open and the break. And they feel that the open is the bigger risk, and so they take that away. And Mueller only too happy to throw that arcing forehand that, as you say, lands in the break space.
And especially when it has that curl on it, because it comes down at a higher angle, you can't get in front and defend it anywhere near as if it was a flat, you can get in front of it. But not when it's got those roll curves on it. It's a really nice option and clearly a go-to throw for her.
A lovely look, and Simpson obviously knows that that throw is in Mueller's arsenal, and so positions herself well to provide that chance. (6-3) now. Fuse have jumped out to a comfortable lead. The mark of the best teams, though, is that they're able to capitalise on leads and push them further and not be content with just 2 or 3 breaks. When they sense they're able to score on an opposition, they want to do it every single time. Sutton shoots long. Brown in pursuit. It's going to hang. Plays will go up. But it's well read and taken strong by Beck Crosby. The tall timber of this GWS team does well. Blaze scores quickly.
It is very tempting for teams if they've got a 3-4 point lead to take their foot off the accelerator, take it easy a little bit and think that there's not a lot of risk. But then, as we see, GWS scored very easily in that point and definitely have the ability and the willingness to come back. So teams Fuse will have to make sure that they don't take their foot off the accelerator and keep pushing, keep trying to score. And it's not important, I don't believe, for this game, but you never know when points difference is going to be important. So particularly in tournaments like this, you want to make sure that you have every advantage that you have. Additionally, of course, we have the Australian selectors here this weekend.
We do.
So any player who's interested in being selected for the Australian rep team is going to be wanting to show their best.
Regardless of what's happening with their team and within the confines of BCI, absolutely. It's that added layer of pressure and an added layer of desire to perform. I'm sure there are a number of players here that have that in the back of their mind, hoping to impress. But the selectors of both Firetails and the Barramundis at the fields this weekend, selecting for the Asia Oceanic Ultimate Championships in July. Murray picks up the disc right on halfway. And a miscue from Krista Shen will give Mueller another opportunity with the disc in hand, which is where she wants to be. Throws a bit of a hanger, but Ferrari comes down with it. Plenty of contact in that pack grab. She does well. Simpson, nice hands to keep that alive, but we've got a pick call. Simpson's heading deep. Mueller's in power position. That throw is always going to come. Players in pursuit. It's going to hang. It's coming well to her left. Simpson doesn't get a good read on that at all. And GWS Blaze comes down with it. And Fuse quickly responds with a double-handed smackdown D by Rebecca Craig. And we've got a pick call, so she won't get the bookends, or at least not yet. No, it's a goal.
Really interesting choice by GWS. They were poaching off Mueller as in her position as dump, which I think is a really dangerous choice. She was able to get that disc in the power position, which led to that throw.
You don't want to be poaching off a player in the dump space with throws like Ava Mueller. It's just too dangerous. You see Fuse punish GWS there for that mistake. And Fuse now knocking on the door of half-time. Caught GWS napping a little bit.
Good to see them still playing hard, even with their nice lead. And we'll see if they'll come down in their zone again.
And that ball just landing in the field before rolling out the side.
Yep, Fuse. Well, Fuse has put on a different kind of junk.
And it's almost immediately effective, causing a difficult throw through traffic. Jody Brown will walk to the disc slowly. About 15 metres out from the end zone. Break side to McInnes. Nice flip to Ziegman. Fuse makes quick work of this half, 8-4. To finish with the break as well. So certainly in the driver's seat. Maybe not what we would have expected considering earlier results for both these teams. Fuse going down to factory, whereas Blaze got the win.
Yeah, I think GWS is going to have to think about their cutting structures. I feel like they haven't been able to find the space, and when they've been trying, they've been getting picks. Their handlers have been okay. Their handlers have been able to dump and swing and recycle and have been getting long shots off, but they just haven't been able to get the cutters free and into space.
I'm sure that's something they'll talk about at halftime as they take a moment to break and rest. And as they do, so will we. But don't go anywhere. Stick around for the second half of GWS Blaze and Brisbane Fuse as they go head-to-head at the Brisbane Canberra Invitational. Welcome back to the second half of GWS Blaze and Fuse at the Brisbane Canberra Invitational. The first half has been all about Brisbane Fuse and their aggressive option taking. They've really caught GWS napping a little bit. They've jumped out to an 8-4 lead, though I'm sure GWS has taken this opportunity at halftime to reset a few things. Are there any adjustments, Anita, that you think they should be making for this second half?
GWS, I think, has to be looking at their cutting structures. And I also think they need to be looking at their defense. They have only once flashed a zone onto Fuse. Fuse have tried at least 2 different types of junk. They've played match. They've been playing it. They've been mixing it up, looking to see what works. And GWS hasn't. They've been mostly forcing flick, and they've tried once with their zone. I think they need to look at how they can stop Fuse. They also need to start playing more high percentage ultimate. I think they've been throwing a few discs away, making some choices that perhaps weren't on, and they need to just tighten that in.
And you can see that in exactly that moment there. That was a very difficult throw down the line, especially with the wind as it is. And it just sails out and never really comes back in, which will give Fuse the disc just a couple of meters out from the end zone.
And I think this has been, that's what's been happening this whole first half. GWS has just been making these slight execution errors, which have been handing the disc to Fuse in great field position.
And Brown makes quick work of it. Hits her target. And Fuse start the second half like they finished the first. And that's by scoring goals. They find Ali Bowden in the front corner. She's able to get quite a few meters separation into that front pocket, making Brown's job very easy. It's another break.
Of course, it's very easy to say that GWS need to look at their defensive structures, but if they're continually starting on offense, that's always harder to do.
It's not much point playing defense if your offense can't score. And it's a challenge that GWS will have to tackle right now. It's a very different looking GWS team from years gone past. In the last couple of years, they've been a real powerhouse, pushing every other team to the limit, making semis at nationals for a couple of years in a row. A couple of personnel changes, and they've not quite been able to make things click so far this season, quite as well as seasons gone past. Perhaps missing or noticing the absence of Holly Reid in particular. She's gone off to play for bench B team in the Opens division. And Brown shoots for Moodwa, a little bit far even for Moodwa, who's very quick. And Fuse's aggressive option taking paying off so far. Even if they don't all connect, it means that Blaze has more territory to cover and more chance of a short field turn. Which is exactly what they get here. About 15 meters out. It'll be Brown again that picks this disc up. It's Jensen that cuts up line. And it's Wong. Brown's receiver of choice.
Nice work from Fuse there. Being able to generate the turns and push it up. Although GWS just unable to connect at the moment.
They really are just struggling to hit unders and maintain possession for even more than a couple of passes. The wind has eased up again, so it's I can't imagine that that's the crucial factor in any of this.
No, quite a few of their throws have just gone to the ground. Maybe they're rushing their throws, not getting into the proper position to be able to throw, but just not able to execute what they're trying to do.
But they'll have plenty of time to reflect on this weekend and tweak a few things before Nationals. They're still a couple of weeks away. So this will be the last significant hit out for most teams.
But what a great opportunity for these teams to play such a high quality warm-up tournament before Nationals.
Certainly is. And even as the ultimate calendar gets more and more chock-a-block, a tournament like this is still a great opportunity and something that a lot of the top teams really value. And that is, I guess, a smaller tournament where there aren't any easy games. Every game, you know, is going to be a challenge.
It really is great, because not only do you get to work as a team, you get to work on your structures, but you get a sneak peek of what the other teams have been working on and what they're playing with as you meet them in a fortnight's time.
Mueller, high backhand.
Oh, out of the field.
McInnes doesn't realise that she stepped over the line. She catches that one. And Murray will pick up the disc. Thinks about the large forehand, but chooses to recycle possession. Crossfield to Poop. Crosby. Comes this near side now. Have to swing back to Murray. Blaze doing a much better job of maintaining possession as Perryman moves the disc back into the centre to Crosby. Looking for Murray. Simpson's there, and that throw a little underdone in terms of the juice it had behind it from Alice Seed. Ferrari. Get things moving. That pass a little low for Craig at her shoelaces. Murray looks to break the mark. Forehand across the field, and that'll sail out the sideline. GWS visibly frustrated on the field. And I mean, it's hard not to be. But maintaining mental composure through tough points and through adversity, absolutely key to good offense.
There's no shortcuts is the problem with Ultimate. It's also the benefit. And you just can't rush these things. If it's not working, you have to just work hard, get back to basics, get those high percentage throws up and going.
Speaking of high percentage throws, Arvin Mueller to Dom Simpson seems like a money connection right now. So they connect again for big meters, leaving Simpson with the easy flip for the goal.
Yeah, nice, easy offense there.
Feels like GWS doesn't have a good answer to that connection. It's almost at will when those two are on the field. If Simpson heads to the end zone, the throw's going to come. It's just a matter of time until that opportunity opens up.
GWS has had so many throws gone to ground. And I'm not sure I saw them warm up before the game. That they came from their bye, they came from the break straight to the game. And sometimes it's worth just getting some throws in before the game to reactivate that muscle memory and those executions.
Fuse in this 4-person cup. We've seen them pull out a couple of times now. Really limiting GWS's use of the underneath space. Forcing them to go back and around, dump and swing. See a nice little blade over the top to Carmen. Carmen goes across field. Can't quite connect.
A little too much oomph on that throw across the field.
Now Ferrari, centre to Brown. Nice cut off the back of Stack. That's great discipline. Big shot for Ziegman. And that turnover will stand. Janacek. To Sutton. We haven't seen Sutton really assert herself this match. Surprising considering how well she played yesterday in the Blue Bottles match.
This is much better movement from GWS against the zone, much better swings. Waiting to see what they can, if they can find the gaps, and then just rushing it again.
They got excited when they saw the end zone open up in front of them and just pushed a shot to Courtney Thompson. Just rushed it. Fuse will get another look. This time out of a horizontal stack. Carmen providing deep support, deep help. McInnes with the disc. Ziegman heading to the end zone. The throw won't come. A lot of traffic. Brown under pressure, working in tight spaces. Ferrari up line, only about 8 meters out now. Brown again. Goes crossfield with the flick. She was looking for Keat. And they'll discuss what happened. That crossfield shot, a little aggressive, a little ambitious. But McInnes not happy with what was happening with Sutton, and they're figuring out what will happen next. Blessing and the curse of Ultimate Frisbee, self-refereed. The throw didn't go into that vicinity, so I'm not too sure what the discussion.
I don't actually know what they're talking about, but it definitely had nothing to do with the catch, or the cut definitely on the throw.
The disc will go back, I think. Back to Brown. I'm sure she'll be happy to have a second look at that throw. Play will restart momentarily. Keat is on that far side. McInnes in the lane and Ferrari in the center of the field, ready to provide a reset if called upon. Matheson will tap the disc back in. Play will restart. Jody Brown will do her best. Score a goal. Simpson smears across the front. Siegman doesn't want to throw it to her. Instead goes Hurley's forehand from McInnes. McInnes leaves her feet, does well to hold on. Looks for Ferrari in the centre. Things are getting crowded. Despite the bid of Courtney Thompson, Keat will score the goal. Brianna Keat will not be denied.
Nice.
And Fuse take it to 12.
Nice grab under pressure there. Hard work for Fuse getting it in at that point. It is an upwind point now. Well, the wind is moving quite a lot. Still across the field more than anything, but does sometimes move so that that right-hand side is an upwind point.
(12-4). Fuse just looking to close this one out efficiently from here. They can be pretty happy with how they've played this game, Fuse. Dom Simpson in particular having a screamer. Her and Mueller connecting for a number of great deep looks. And Jody Brown marshalling their defensive line. It's been solid as ever. Plays. Little miscommunication. And give it up again cheaply. It's the story of this match. You simply can't give away the disc easily against a team of quality like Fuse, because they will punish you. And a bit of a stall 9 desperation shot there from Brown. Not a lot was opening up for her, and their dump wasn't able to provide a reset.
Strong defense by WS on those. They actually had 2 dump options, but they had covered both of them very well.
Monty. Wong gets her finger, but almost knocks it into the path of the opposition number, Julian Lamb. Brown, lovely around backhand. Sees Moudwa going deep, arcing backhand shot to the end zone, bobbles and catches. And GWS Blaze yet to score in this half. Fuse really running away with it now. Attacking the break side at will. And Sila Moudwa makes that one exciting, but holds on to it.
That was nice awareness by Moudwa as it bobbles out. You can sometimes lose it, not be able to find it again, but she was able to keep track of it to catch it. And GWS, it's hard at this point. It's the last game of the tournament. They're down by a significant way. It's hard to be able to keep that energy and that motivation up.
It certainly is. I know, having been in similar situations, it's difficult to keep playing hard. You kind of just want it to be over. Kirsty Murray will find a nice gap through the centre to Matheson. Hoop doesn't have a lot opening up in front of her. Stall count must be rising eventually. Dumps. The swing finds Murray. Finds Janacek on the near side. She opts for the big swing. Matheson again. Murray to Carmen. Big swing to Janacek. To Pope. Bobbled but held on to by Lingle. GWS doing a good job at dumping and swinging, using the width of the field. Struggling to translate that into forward meters, but now they do. As Thompson finds the disc. Lingle. Back to Thompson. Right on the doorstep now, Murray offers for the big swing to Janacek. She shoots over the top to Carmen. Can't quite hold on. And after such a great display of patience, just coughs it up.
That really is a shame. And I thought that was a good option too. If it had just had a slightly less angle, it mightn't have been picked up by the wind so much and straight into the hands of the receiver, but instead just a little bit too tight. But you're right, great patience, nicely moved up the field, and really interesting that Fuse held their structure all the way down to the end zone.
It's a nice take by McInnes. Simpson reloads and shoots again. Ziegman not even going to chase that one, much too far and flat.
Injury on the field.
Matheson, injury, but then jogs off. I'm not sure what the issue is.
She did land quite heavily in her attempt to defend that long shot, so she might have winded herself.
Play will restart. GWS showed great patience working it up the length of the field earlier. Of course, whether they can do it again is a whole nother question. Poop, the end of a nice hammer over the top. And that swing by Janacek, cut out nicely by Jensen. Simpson finds Ferrari. Mueller instead goes to Ziegman to the end zone. Fuse take it to within one.
So frustrating for GWS. They worked it up so well into that end zone, pushed it through, didn't get it. And then it's pretty quick offense back in for Fuse. That zone's working for Fuse, so that loose four-man cup.
Making GWS throw a lot of passes and work really hard.
And they're not able to get those long shots off either. So statistically speaking, the best number of passes to score is 5. If you can make a team work more than 5 passes, then you're increasing your chances of a turnover.
Well, if that's the case, then Fuse's zone has been working a treat. Moudwa just steps in front and intercepts that pass, but immediately gives it straight back. GWS get a second chance at this one. Alice C heads to the end zone. Barnes. Through the guts, the shot comes up. Crosby puts a backhand out in front. Moudwa chasing hard. Can't hold on. I don't think Moudwa actually touched it, but she did enough.
That was a beautifully weighted disc into that space. Just Moudwa able to create enough pressure for the drop.
Brown with a disc. Ellie Hansen heads deep. The wind really picking up. Wong, so reliable as she has been all game. Another big bid from her, but she can't quite make up the distance. GWS will head upwind again. Nice upline cut. Confused to get it moving. Big gainer underneath, but it's put to turf. And Barnes underneath that blading flick. Big swing. Great defensive effort. But it results in a bang to the head by the look of it for Georgiadis.
And you can see Fuse is really upping their ante on defense. They would like to put this game to bed if they can. They don't want GWS to extend it out and get the score here. But it's resulted in an injury.
Barnes comes under. She's provided so much from this point. She'll shoot to the end zone over the head of Crosby. And Fuse get one more chance to tie this one up. Brown, forehand down the line. Nice hands by Becca Chang, but then misses her target and Ali Bowden gives it away. GWS still working hard despite the late stage of this game. Crosby, her tall timber and big throws. A real asset for GWS this game.
Now Fuse is going to have to take a breath here. They've been working really hard on defense. You can see the energy that they've been putting into it, but they have to just take that step, calm down, and see if they can put in some clinical offense to just end the game.
They're setting up in a horizontal stack. Imagine they'd love to send Moodwar deep, though she's being backed significantly. Not a lot opens up. And in the end, Brown does find a target in Chang. Finds Bowden. Chang, nice hands. She's got Brown going deep. Doesn't opt to throw it. GWS get the disc once again. And again, Beck Crosby uncorks a big backhand. Where has that been hiding all game? And Amy Barnes comes down with that, reads it well.
And every player is thankful that that point's finished.
Bit of a grinder.
That was a long, hard point.
Crosby, not afraid of throwing up wind. Plenty of power behind her throws.
Really well weighted. That was beautiful. Straight, it hung in the air. Gave her a lot of chance for her receiver to come and get it.
Mueller on the field for this point. And so Simpson. Be willing to put money that those two are going to connect at some point. Ferrari as well. Mueller eventually finds the disc. Lots of cutters cutting into the same space for Fuse. By no means is it clean, but it's, they are able to work it up, gaining meters on the way. Mueller finds Simpson. Oh, nice hands. Fuse does well. They're on the doorstep now. They dump back to Mueller, inside shot. She hits her target. And Brisbane Fuse take the match. 15-5. It was a slogfest in the end. Got pretty scrappy at times as the conditions worsened. But Brisbane Fuse come out on top against GWS Blaze. We've got 2 more games coming to you live on the stream today, the men's and women's finals. So do stick around for those after lunch. It's been a pleasure keeping you company this morning. My name's Max Stenstrom. Been joined by Anita Beck. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you next time.
ULTI.TV.